The Galactic Council chamber stretched 3 kilometers across, a monument to alien arrogance. Ambassador Sarah Chan stood alone at the center of the crystalline floor, surrounded by the holographic representatives of 200 species. Above her, the vaulted ceiling displayed the swirling colors of 1,000 worlds. It should have been beautiful. Instead, it felt like standing in a tomb. High Chancellor Vroktar of the Zenthari Empire leaned forward on his floating throne. His 4 eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "The Council has reached its decision," he announced, his voice echoing through translation matrices. "Humanity is hereby stripped of galactic citizenship. Earth and all human colonies are expelled from Council protection. Effective immediately." Sarah's jaw tightened. She had known this was coming. 3 months of hearings, accusations, and deliberate humiliation had led to this moment. But knowing didn't make it easier. "On what grounds?" she asked, keeping her voice steady. Vroktar's mandibles clicked in what passed for a smile among his kind. "Your species is too aggressive, too unpredictable, too dangerous. In the mere 50 years since contact, humans have colonized 17 worlds, established independent trade routes, and repeatedly violated our cultural customs. You refuse to accept your place." "Our place," Sarah echoed. "Yes." This came from Counselor Then, an ethereal being of pure energy from the Lumina Collective. Her voice shimmered through the chamber. "Every species in the galaxy has a role. The Zenthari provide military order. The Kalerans handle commerce. The Vreks maintain technology. Humanity's role is to serve as laborers and resource extractors. Yet you refuse this designation." Sarah looked around the chamber. 200 species, and not one spoke in humanity's defense. The Kaleran merchants who had profited from human trade routes remained silent. The Vrex technologists who had stolen human innovations looked away. The smaller species that humanity had protected from Zenthari aggression said nothing. "We came to you in peace," Sarah said. "When our first ships reached the threshold station, we offered friendship. We shared our culture, our art, our science. We asked only to be treated as equals." "Equals?" Vroktar laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Your technology is primitive. Your worlds are few. Your lifespans are laughably short. You have been spacefaring for less than a century. The Zenthari have ruled the stars for 50,000 years. You are children playing at being adults. Then why do you fear us?" Sarah asked quietly. The chamber fell silent. Vroktar's eyes narrowed. "We do not fear you," he said slowly. "We are simply maintaining order. The galaxy has been stable for millennia precisely because every species knows its place. Humanity disrupts that order." Sarah pulled a data crystal from her jacket. "Before I leave, I have something for the Council. Our final gift to you." She placed it on the floor. The crystal projected a hologram star charts, showing human colonies, trade routes, and defensive positions. Everything the Council had been demanding for months. "Complete transparency," Sarah said. "Every human military asset, every ship, every weapon, every base. You wanted to know how dangerous we are? Now you know. 47 warships, 17 colonies, a population of 30 billion spread across 12 light-years." Vroktar studied the display. His expression shifted from satisfaction to confusion. "This is everything?" "Everything," Sarah confirmed. "But this is nothing," then said, her voice filled with puzzlement. "Your fleet is barely large enough to defend a single sector. By our standards, you are defenseless." "Yes," Sarah said. "That's what you never understood about humans. We didn't come to the stars to conquer. We came to explore, to learn, to grow. We built cities, not fortresses. We established trade, not tribute. We made friends, not subjects. And you punished us for it." She turned slowly, meeting the eyes of species after species. "You stripped us of citizenship. You've expelled us from your protection. You think you've put us in our place." She smiled, and there was something cold in that expression. "You have no idea what you've just done. Is that a threat?" Vroktar demanded, rising from his throne. "No," Sarah said. It's a warning. You've just told humanity that there's no reward for cooperation, no benefit to peace, no advantage to playing by your rules. You've taught 30 billion humans that the galaxy respects only one thing: power. She walked toward the exit. At the doorway, she paused and looked back. You should have made us your friends, she said, because you're really not going to like us as enemies. The doors sealed behind her with a sound like thunder. In the chamber, Vroktar stared at the display of human forces. 47 ships. Barely worth noticing. So why did he suddenly feel uneasy? Outside, Sarah's security chief waited. Well? Marcus Rodriguez asked. Sarah's smile turned genuine, but fierce. They took the bait. They think we're weak. And now we show them what humanity really is. She looked up at the stars through the station's transparent ceiling. Get me Admiral Zhao. Tell him to begin Phase 2. The Council has no idea, do they? None, Sarah confirmed. They counted our warships and thought they knew everything. They never asked the right question. Which is? Sarah's eyes gleamed. If humanity only has 47 warships after 50 years in space, what have we been building instead? Marcus grinned. They're going to find out. Yes, Sarah said. Yes, they are. Admiral Zhao received the message in the command center of Fortress Station, humanity's largest orbital platform. The massive structure hung in the darkness beyond Neptune, invisible to the casual observer. It had been built in secret over 30 years, constructed from asteroids hollowed out and fused together. To alien sensors, it looked like nothing more than cosmic debris. It's done then, Zhao said, looking at the holographic image of Sarah. He was 70 years old, but his eyes burned with the intensity of youth. They expelled us. Unanimously, Sarah confirmed. Vroktar practically danced on his throne. Arrogant fool. Zhao turned to his tactical display. Around him, 300 officers worked at their stations. The command center was carved from solid rock, shielded by 3 meters of ice and stone. It could survive a direct hit from a fusion warhead. Did they believe the data? Completely. They think 47 ships is everything we have. Zhao allowed himself a thin smile. Then they never understood human nature at all. He gestured, and his tactical officer brought up a new display. It showed the solar system, but not as the aliens had ever seen it. Hidden in the asteroid belt were 73 military shipyards. Concealed in the Kuiper belt were another 42. Mining bases on Mercury operated in secret, pulling resources from the planet's rich core. Europa hosted underwater construction facilities beneath its ice. Titan's atmosphere hid atmospheric processors that had been running for decades. And the ships. Oh, the ships. Status report, Zhao ordered. Commander Lisa Park stepped forward. She was young for her rank, only 35, but she had earned her position through brilliance, not politics. Project Guardian is 97% complete. All 300 vessels are functional. We're running final checks on the last 8. 300, Sarah breathed over the comm. In 50 years, we learned from Earth's history, Zhao said. In the 20th century, America built thousands of aircraft during World War II while claiming to be neutral. The Nazis never saw them coming. We applied the same principle on a galactic scale. He pulled up an image of one of the ships. It was beautiful in a deadly way, sleek, angular, covered in reactive armor plating. Unlike the bulky alien vessels, human ships were built for speed and precision. The Guardian-class destroyer, Park explained, 2 kilometers long, equipped with rail guns that fire projectiles at 15% light speed, missile batteries with plasma warheads, point defense systems that can track 1,000 targets simultaneously, and our special innovation, quantum jump drives. The aliens use hyperspace lanes, Sarah said, understanding dawning. Fixed routes between star systems. Exactly, Zhao confirmed. It takes them weeks to move between systems, and they can only use established lanes. Our quantum drives can jump anywhere, anytime. We're not bound by their infrastructure. But that technology, the Council said it was impossible. They've been trying to develop it for centuries. Zhao's smile widened. They've been trying to develop it using their physics. We used ours. Humanity never accepted that something was impossible just because aliens said so. He zoomed out on the display. Red dots began appearing throughout human space. Not just ships, but entire defensive networks. Satellites, mines, automated weapons platforms, sensor grids that could detect a ship entering a system from a light year away. For 50 years we smiled and nodded, Zhao said. We sent ambassadors who begged for acceptance. We played the role of eager newcomers, grateful for any scraps the council threw our way. And while they looked down on us, we built this. How did we keep it secret? Sarah asked. They have ships in our space, merchants, observers. We gave them what they expected to see, Park answered. Open colonies where they could watch us struggle with primitive technology. We acted like children, so they treated us like children. Meanwhile, 90% of our real industry happened in places they never thought to look. In the cold, the dark, the places they considered worthless. Zhao pulled up another display. This one showed intercepted alien communications. For the last 6 months, we've been monitoring council networks. The Zenthari are spread thin trying to maintain control of their empire. The Kalaran economy is failing because they've spent centuries exploiting client species instead of innovating. The Vreks are so dependent on their ancient technology that they've forgotten how to create anything new. And the smaller species are terrified but too weak to act. The council is fragile, Sarah said slowly. A house of cards, Zhao agreed, held together by tradition, fear, and the illusion of superiority. Humanity was the first species in 10,000 years to challenge them. That's why they expelled us. Not because we were too weak, but because we were too strong. So what happens now? Zhao stood, straightening his uniform. Now we remind the galaxy of something they've forgotten. The most dangerous species isn't the strongest or the most advanced. It's the one that refuses to give up. He turned to his communications officer. Send the activation codes to all Guardian vessels. I want them ready to deploy within the hour. Yes, sir. Park, begin Operation Revelation. It's time the council saw what we've really been building. With pleasure, Admiral. Sarah's image flickered. Zhang, be careful. If this goes wrong. It won't, he interrupted. Humanity doesn't lose, Sarah. We just take longer to win. The council had 50 years to make us their allies. They chose to make us something else instead. What's that? Zhao's eyes reflected the light of 300 warships on his display. They're reckoning. Across human space, hidden bases came alive. Shipyards opened their camouflage doors. Weapons platforms powered up. Soldiers who had trained in secret for their entire lives reported to their stations. 300 Guardian-class destroyers began their launch sequences, their quantum drives humming with barely contained power. In the asteroid belt, Captain James Chun sat in the command chair of the HSS Defiance, the first Guardian-class ship ever built. Around him, his crew worked with practiced efficiency. They had trained for this moment for 15 years, running simulations and drills in absolute secrecy. All systems green, his tactical officer reported. Quantum drive charged and ready. Weapons online. Chun looked at the view screen showing the vast darkness of space. Somewhere out there, the Zenthari Empire was celebrating humanity's expulsion. They thought they had won. Send a message to Admiral Zhao, Chun said quietly. Tell him Defiance is ready to show the galaxy who we really are. His crew smiled. They had been waiting a long time for this. The age of humanity's submission was over. The age of humanity's rise had begun. The Zenthari patrol fleet drifted through the outer rim, bored and confident. Commander Kreltalk commanded 6 warships, each 3 kilometers long, bristling with weapons that had pacified 1,000 worlds. His mission was simple: monitor the border between Zenthari space and what had been human territory. Make sure the expelled species knew their place. Sir, his sensor officer called out. I'm detecting unusual readings at the edge of our range. Kreltalk barely looked up from his meal. He was eating something that had once been alive, a delicacy from the conquered PRYH homeworld. Define unusual. Energy signatures. Multiple sources. They just appeared out of nowhere. Impossible. Nothing can bypass our sensors. Kreltalk set down his food. Show me. The display lit up with red dots. 10 of them, then 20, then 50. What am I looking at? Kreltalk demanded. Unknown vessels, sir. They weren't there 10 seconds ago. They just appeared. Kreltalk felt his blood chill. Raise shields. Battle stations. Now! Alarms shrieked through the ship. His crew scrambled to their positions, but years of peaceful patrols had made them slow. It took nearly 3 minutes to reach full combat readiness. 3 minutes was all humanity needed. The Guardian-class destroyers emerged from their quantum jumps in perfect formation. 50 ships, each one a masterwork of human engineering. They had jumped directly into the system, bypassing the hyperspace lanes entirely, something the Zenthari had believed impossible. Captain Chun watched the alien patrol fleet scramble on his view screen. They're not even ready, he said. Tactical, confirmed target locks. All 50 ships have locked onto the 6 Zenthari vessels. Weapons ready on your order, Captain. Chun thought about the last 50 years, about humanity begging for acceptance, about ambassadors humiliated in the council chambers, about human colonies taxed to starvation by Zenthari protection fees, about the Kalaran merchants who bought human goods at pennies and sold them for fortunes, about the Vreks who stole human patents and claimed them as their own. Fire, he said. 50 ships opened fire as one. The railguns fired first. Projectiles the size of cars accelerated to 15% of light speed, crossing the distance in seconds. They struck the Zenthari shields, and the shields held for exactly 2 seconds. Then they overloaded from the sheer kinetic energy. The missiles came next. Plasma warheads designed in human laboratories, based on physics the aliens had never explored. They detonated against the Zenthari hulls in flowers of blue-white fire, each one releasing as much energy as a small nuclear weapon. Kreltalk's flagship shuddered. Return fire, he screamed. His weapons officers tried. The massive energy cannons that had leveled cities swiveled toward the human ships. They fired, and hit nothing. The Guardian-class destroyers moved like dancers. Their advanced engines let them change velocity and direction in microseconds. The Zenthari weapons, designed to hit slow-moving targets on predictable courses, couldn't track them. Impossible! Kreltalk roared. Nothing moves that fast. Sir, shields are failing. Hull breaches on decks 12 through 17. Another volley from the human ships. This time the Zenthari shields didn't even activate. The railgun rounds punched through the armor like paper, tearing through the massive warship's interior. Explosions blossomed along its length. Retreat, Kreltalk ordered. Jump to hyperspace. We need 10 minutes to charge the jump drive. We don't have 10 minutes. He was right. The second Zenthari warship exploded as its reactor breached. The third lost power and went dark. The fourth tried to run at sublight speed, but 3 human ships pursued it, their weapons firing with terrifying precision. Kreltalk made a decision. Communications, send a distress call to Zenthar Prime. Tell them. A railgun round struck the bridge. Kreltalk had one moment to see the armored projectile tear through 3 meters of reinforced hull. Then it hit him and he ceased to exist. The battle lasted 7 minutes. 6 Zenthari warships, pride of the Empire, veterans of countless campaigns, destroyed by a human force that appeared from nowhere and vanished just as quickly. Captain Chun watched the wreckage drift in space. Cease fire. Damage report. Minor shield stress on 3 ships. No casualties. No significant damage. Confirmed 6 enemy vessels destroyed? Confirmed, sir. No survivors detected. Chun nodded slowly. Part of him felt the weight of what they had just done. Thousands of Zenthari were dead. This was humanity's first aggressive military action in galactic history. Then he remembered Ambassador Chen's face as she stood alone in that council chamber. He remembered his sister, who had died on a human colony when the Zenthari refused to send medical supplies. He remembered the families broken by alien taxation and exploitation. Good, he said. Helm, jump to Rally Point Delta. We have 8 more patrols to visit tonight. Yes, sir. The 50 ships vanished as suddenly as they had appeared, leaving only debris and radiation. On Zenther Prime, High Chancellor Vroktar was in his private chambers when the message arrived. He read it 3 times, certain it was a mistake. Impossible, he muttered. 50 human ships? Appearing without warning? Destroying 6 of our patrol fleets in minutes. He pulled up the patrol's last transmission. The sensor logs showed ships that moved faster than anything in the Zenthri fleet. Weapons that penetrated shields designed to withstand anything. Tactics that suggested advanced military training. This wasn't the weak, harmless humanity that had begged for citizenship. This was something else entirely. Get me the council, he ordered. Emergency session. Now. But even as he spoke, more messages arrived. Another patrol destroyed in the outer rim. Then another. Human ships were hitting targets across 3 sectors simultaneously, moving faster than the Zenthri could respond. In 8 hours, humanity destroyed 26 Zenthri patrol fleets, 156 warships, gone, 30,000 Zenthri warriors, dead. The galaxy had believed humanity had 47 ships. They learned the truth too late. Admiral Zhao watched the reports flow in from Fortress Station. Every target hit. Every objective achieved. 0 human casualties. Phase 1 complete, Commander Park reported. All ships returning to designated staging areas. Excellent. Begin Phase 2. I want the Council to see what happens when you strip humanity of citizenship. He pulled up a galaxy map. Red dots marked human attacks. Blue dots showed human defensive positions. Green dots indicated targets for the next phase. The map was covered in green dots. Sir, Park said quietly, we've crossed a line. There's no going back from this. Good, Zhao replied. Humanity spent 50 years being patient, being peaceful, being civilized. And where did it get us? Expelled, mocked, exploited. He stood, his reflection visible in the tactical display. The Council wanted to know what humanity could do. Now they'll learn. We're not the weakest species in the galaxy. We're the one that survives. Across human space, 300 Guardian-class destroyers prepared for their next missions. In shipyards hidden throughout the solar system, another 500 ships neared completion. In laboratories the Galactic Council chamber erupted in panic. 200 species shouted, argued, and accused simultaneously. The translation matrices struggled to keep up with the verbal chaos. Order! Vroktar roared, slamming his fist on the podium. Order! It took 10 minutes for the chamber to quiet. When it did, every eye turned to the High Chancellor. His 4 eyes were bloodshot. He had not slept in 36 hours. We are under attack, he said simply. Humanity has destroyed 41 patrol fleets in the last 2 days. Over 200 warships. 50,000 Zenthri warriors. Impossible. Counselor Then's energy form flickered with distress. Our intelligence said they had fewer than 50 ships. Our intelligence was wrong. Vroktar pulled up a holographic display. It showed the wreckage of one of his patrol fleets. These are the sensor logs from the battle. The humans appeared without warning, destroyed 6 warships in 7 minutes, and vanished. Our weapons couldn't even hit them. A Kalaran merchant counselor spoke up. His species resembled oversized mantises with crystalline wings. 7 minutes? To destroy 6 Zenthri battleships? That's faster than the legendary Vrex warfleet could manage. Precisely, Vroktar said coldly. We have underestimated humanity. Severely. But they were primitives, another counselor protested. We've monitored their colonies for 50 years. We've seen their technology. It's centuries behind ours. What we saw, a new voice said, was what they wanted us to see. Everyone turned. Counselor Zendar of the Vrex had spoken. The Vrex were ancient, their civilization spanning 70,000 years. They were the technological pinnacle of the galaxy. If they said something was significant, others listened. Zendar floated forward on his gravitational platform. His species had evolved beyond physical forms millennia ago, existing as pure consciousness housed in crystalline matrices. I have analyzed the human weapons. Their railgun technology uses principles we abandoned as impractical. Their shields operate on frequencies we never considered. Their quantum drives. He paused. Their quantum drives use theoretical physics that we proved was impossible 3,000 years ago. Then how? Because they ignored our proof, Zendar said. They didn't ask what was possible according to galactic science. They asked what was possible according to human science. And they found different answers. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. You're saying, then said slowly, that humanity developed an entirely separate scientific paradigm? I'm saying they thought differently than we did. We, the great civilizations of the galaxy, spent 50,000 years perfecting what we knew. Humanity spent 50 years questioning everything. They innovated where we stagnated. They experimented where we relied on tradition. They succeeded because they refused to believe something was impossible just because we said it was. Vroktar's mandibles clicked in agitation. Then what do? How do we fight them? Before anyone could answer, the chamber's lights flickered. Emergency alarms blared. The holographic display switched to show a single human ship hovering outside the council station. No, not hovering. Sitting. Like a predator waiting at a waterhole. This is Captain James Chun of the Human Space Navy, a voice said over the communication channel. The translation was perfect, the tone cold. I'm here to deliver a message from Admiral Zhao and Ambassador Sarah Chin. Vroktar's claws extended reflexively. You dare attack this station? We are neutral ground. We're not attacking, Chun interrupted. We're talking, which is more than you did before you expelled us. You have killed 50,000 Zenthari, and you have exploited, taxed, and oppressed 30 billion humans for 50 years. Shall we discuss body counts? Because I guarantee you won't like that conversation. On the view screen, Chen's face was calm but his eyes burned with controlled fury. He was young, perhaps 40, with the weathered look of someone who had spent years in space. Here are your options, Chen continued. Option 1. The Council can formally apologize to humanity, restore our citizenship, grant us equal voting rights, and pay reparations for 50 years of exploitation. We'll stop our military operations and return to peaceful relations. Never, Vroktar roared. I thought you'd say that. Option 2. We continue what we've started. We have identified 300 strategic targets across the galaxy. Mining operations, trade hubs, military bases. We'll destroy them one by one until the galactic economy collapses. You're declaring war on the entire galaxy? Then asked, shocked. We're declaring independence, Chun corrected. You declared war on us when you expelled us without cause, when you exploited our labor, when you stole our innovations, when you treated us as lesser beings. We're simply responding to 50 years of aggression with 50 days of justice. Zendar floated forward. You cannot win. Even with 300 ships, you cannot defeat the combined might of 200 species. Can't we? Chun smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. Counselor Zendar, your species invented hyperspace travel 60,000 years ago. It was brilliant, revolutionary. It let you connect the galaxy. But it also made you dependent on fixed routes, predictable paths, established infrastructure. You built an empire on those hyperspace lanes. He gestured, and a new hologram appeared. A map of the galaxy with all the major hyperspace routes highlighted. What happens if those lanes stop working? What are you? 3 hours ago, human ships deployed quantum resonance mines at 47 critical hyperspace junctions. They're small, nearly undetectable, and when activated, they destabilize hyperspace in a 50 light-year radius. Ships trying to jump through those areas will find themselves stranded in normal space, their FTL drives fried. The council chamber erupted in panic again. You've cut the galaxy in half, a counselor screamed. For now, Chen said calmly. The minds can be disabled with the correct codes. Codes that only humanity possesses. Or you can spend years developing new routes. Either way, galactic trade, military deployment, and communication just became very, very difficult. Vroktar's hands trembled with rage. This is terrorism. No, this is strategy, Chen replied. You wanted to know what humanity could do? This is what we do. We adapt. We improvise. We overcome. You had 50,000 years of peace and stability. You got soft. We've had 5,000 years of constant warfare on our own planet. We know how to fight. What do you want? Zendar asked quietly. I told you, option 1 or option 2. Peace with respect, or war without mercy. Chun leaned forward. Here's what you don't understand about humans. We don't quit. Ever. In our history, we've fought wars that lasted centuries. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and nuclear weapons. We've rebuilt civilizations from ashes multiple times. You think you can break us by taking away citizenship? You just made us more dangerous. The council needs time to deliberate, then said. You have 72 hours, Chun said. After that, we start hitting economic targets. Your trade routes, your mining operations, your food production. We won't kill civilians, but we will destroy your economy. Europa, scientists worked on weapons the galaxy had never imagined. And on every human world, 30 billion people heard the news. Heard that humanity had fought back. Heard that the aliens who had oppressed them were bleeding. The cheering could be heard from Earth to the colonies. Humanity had been underestimated. That mistake would cost the galaxy everything. Distortion. The council chamber descended into chaos once more. Species blamed each other. Alliance threatened to fracture. The carefully maintained balance of 50,000 years began to crumble. Vroktar slumped in his throne. How did we not see this coming? Zendar floated beside him. Because we looked at them and saw primitives. We should have seen survivors. Every species in this council achieved spaceflight through cooperation, through stability. Humanity achieved it through competition and conflict. They didn't reach the stars because their world was peaceful. They reached the stars to escape their wars. And we just gave them a new war to fight. So what do? We accept that the galaxy has changed, Zendar said. For 50,000 years, we've been the dominant powers. Perhaps it's time we shared that position. Share power with humans? They've been spacefaring for less than a century. Yes, Zendar agreed. And in that century, they've accomplished what took us millennia. Imagine what they'll do with 1,000 years. Or 10,000. We can either make them our allies now, or our conquerors later. Vroktar looked at the star map, at the dark zones where hyperspace no longer functioned, at the reports of destroyed fleets, at the galaxy he had thought was under control. It wasn't anymore. Humanity had changed everything. And the council had 72 hours to decide how to respond. And unlike your military, your economy has no defenses. The transmission ended. The human ship vanished in a flash of quantum. Admiral Zhao stood on the observation deck of Fortress Station, watching Earth rotate below. The blue marble that had birthed humanity. The world the galaxy had dismissed as insignificant. Admiral, Commander Park approached. We're receiving a transmission from Ambassador Chun. The council wants to negotiate. Already, Zhao raised an eyebrow. I expected them to take the full 72 hours. The quantum mines did more damage than anticipated. 3 major trade hubs are completely isolated. The Calaran economy is in freefall. Food shipments to 47 worlds have been disrupted. The council is fracturing. Zhao nodded slowly. Good. Fear makes people reasonable. What are they offering? They want a ceasefire. They're willing to discuss restoring our citizenship and they're asking what our terms are. Our terms. Zhao smiled without humor. They're asking what it costs to make us stop. Yes, sir. Tell the council we'll send representatives. But the attacks continue until an agreement is signed. I want them to understand we're not negotiating from weakness. Understood. Sir, there's something else. We're getting reports from the border regions. Some species are approaching us directly. The Pryth, the Kelver, the Sarnathi. Species that the Zenthari conquered centuries ago. They're asking if humanity will help them gain independence. Zhao turned from the window. They see an opportunity. Should we respond? Not yet. One war at a time. He walked to the strategic display. But make a note of it. After we settle with the council, we'll need to consider the broader implications of what we've done. He pulled up a report. In the past 5 days, humanity had destroyed 78 Zenthari patrol fleets, disabled major hyperspace junctions, and demonstrated technological capabilities that shocked the galaxy. But they had also revealed their existence. There was no going back to hiding now. Status on fleet production? The hidden shipyards are running at full capacity. We're completing 10 new ships per day. At current rate, we'll have 1,000 warships within 3 months. And weapons development? Park pulled up a classified file. Project Helios is ready. Dr. Yamamoto says the prototype can be tested within the week. A star-killer weapon. Zhao studied the specifications. If the council knew we had this, they'd declare total war. Park finished. Exactly. We hold this back. It's our insurance policy. If the galaxy decides to unite against us, we can threaten their suns. Mutually assured destruction. Kept Earth safe during the nuclear age. It'll work on a galactic scale. Sir, with respect, isn't this escalating too fast? We wanted recognition, not galactic dominance. Zhao looked at her. You're right to question me, Commander. But consider this. What happens if we stop now? We've bloodied the strongest military in the galaxy. We've crippled galactic trade. We've proven humans are a threat. If we show weakness, if we accept anything less than full equality, they'll crush us. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. They'll build new fleets, develop countermeasures, unite against us. Our only safety is in being so dangerous that no one dares attack us. Peace through superior firepower. Peace through absolute deterrence, Zhao corrected. I don't want to rule the galaxy, Commander. I want humanity to be so dangerous that every species thinks twice before threatening us. I want our children to grow up in a galaxy where human means equal, not servant. An alert sounded. Sir, we're detecting Zenthari fleet movements. Multiple battle groups converging on Earth. Zhao's blood went cold. How many ships? 300. Zenthari are throwing everything they have at the homeworld. Those arrogant fools. Zhao slammed his fist on the console. They think Earth is our weak point. They think if they take our homeworld, we'll surrender. Will we? No. His voice was steel. We'll show them exactly how far humanity will go to protect what's ours. Park, activate all defense platforms in the solar system. Get every available Guardian-class ship to Earth. And send a message to Captain Chen. Tell him it's time to show the galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity's home. Yes, sir. Zhao looked at Earth again. 300 ships. The largest Zenthari force assembled in 1,000 years. They were coming to break humanity's spirit. They were about to learn that you don't break humanity. You just make it angry. High Chancellor Vroktar stood on the bridge of the Zenthari flagship Dominion. Around him, 300 warships formed a battle formation that had conquered planets. This was the full might of the Zenthari Empire, ships that had been guarding critical systems, called back for this one decisive strike. The humans heard us, he said to his officers. They used surprise.